Right here. Hello everyone. Welcome to the stream today. Yep, we're doing an open mic. Been a hot minute since we did it. So I guess I'll jump right into laying down the rules for everybody who isn't used to my open mics. Open mics are, as the name suggests, in these streams, in this show that I run here. The idea of is I bring up a topic or I bring up a subject. I might discuss the subject a little bit and like set up the foundational stuff. And then I open the floor to you guys to come on one at a time, bring you guys into a call line via Discord, which will be linked in the description, which it is currently, and I will also link it in the chat. Just want to throw it in at that. I'm going to have to mention this a couple different times, so I'm just starting the stream off like this. So feel free to check out the description of the stream, click on the Discord link, and then jump into waiting call room 1, 2, or 3. It's like a line. So whoever's in waiting call room 1, if there isn't someone in 2, you jump into 2. If there's someone in 2, you jump into 3. If there's someone in 3, you jump into general. And basically from general, try your best to organizedly move through up the line and don't cut in line. Like the moment I pull someone in from 1, don't jump into 1 if you were in general waiting room. Let the person who is in waiting call room 2 jump into 1, and so on and so forth. So now that I got the little house cleaning over the way, thank you so much to Tiki Hub before the stream even began, dropping a incredibly generous $5 super chat. Much appreciated, my friend. He says, "Praise the Emperor. May his 4 holy arms embrace you tight." That is your tight. Okay. While you fight his foes and work in his mines, for our day of ascension is soon, brother. Indeed. Although soon might be a bit strong. I have to double check we're gonna go over the trailer. I have to double check, like they mentioned a date at the very end. Off the top of my head, I don't remember the date. But relatively soon. Fingers crossed. Right. But today we are gonna be talking primarily about Astartes 2 being announced. We're also gonna talk about the fact that Syama Peterson also mentioned on his old channel, which he has renamed to Digital Bones, that he is now rebranding it and coming back to it with unique projects. Gonna have a whole discussion about it. Hope you guys are excited for that. So without too much preamble, let's jump right into it. So welcome to Tiki, of course, Nostalgic Vivek, and those are it for in the chat right now. So welcome everybody. I know I'm starting things a bit early here, so we're gonna wait a minute here before I go into the full thing. But yeah, I hope you guys are as excited and as hype as I am, because I know I'm extremely hype for Astartes 2. I don't have Warmer Plus. I'll be up front. I will be viewing it as soon as it's available, but yo ho, me hearty yo ho. I'll leave it at that. So yeah. Alright, so it's 3:30 now, so we're gonna get right into like the preamble stuff before we do the actual open mic. So before I open the calls up and before we start like having the general conversation about Astartes 2 and Syama, I want to start off by us going over and reviewing the actual trailer. So we're going to do that right now. And from there, after we've gone through the trailer, and I've kind of given you guys my thoughts on it and like what the trailer might overall tease about what this is going to be. And before we even get to the trailer, I do want to point out that GW Warhammer said, "We didn't forget the first teaser trailer for Astartes is here." Gotta love how they had to preempt that. We didn't forget, by the way. It's been has it been like what? Actually, I'm gonna cheat here. How long has it been since Astartes vanished? Oh shoot, that's right. It's gone there. Hold on. Okay, 3 years. Exciting news for the Astartes project. More about WarhammerCommunity.com. And then it had like this cookie cutter kind of creepy thing that Sodaz also had to copy and paste a similar version of when he took down all his Warhammer animations. Yeah, that. Hello, Nega Productions. I meant to say Niga. Niga Productions. That might sound wrong. Niga Productions, welcome. About dang time, I know, right? 3 fucking years. Oh, God. I knew it had been a year or 2, but 3. Damn. It has been a while. Jesus. Oh my God. It's been fucking forever. But yeah, Syama released this over here. Let me see if I can increase the size so we can actually see this. Hold on. Boom. So, yeah, we're going to go over this statement first before we check out the trailer. I was going to do it the other way around, but we'll do it this way. No, I'm a little, going by the seats of my pants a little bit here. So, Digital Bones, also being Syama Peterson, has said a rebranding of this channel is as it will now be used to share both original and professional works. Keep an eye out for upcoming animation. I'm assuming there's an S supposed to be there because there's upcoming animation from me. I'm assuming you meant to say animations. Fingers crossed. For me and my Digital Bones brand. If you would like to support Digital Bones' development of its own original IP projects. So I have a whole thing I want to like bring up. It's very much theory crafting. I'm not making any allegations with it. I'm simply going to be stating a theory I have. It's entirely my opinion and my suppositions. Just throwing that out there. So when we talk about it, just so you know, it's not me making an accusation. It's not me saying that I've seen stuff or I know stuff. It's what I believe to be the case. But I think lines like this and the fact that he did a whole rebrand of his channel and the fact that he magically completely stopped posting anything on social media, at the very least on all of his public social media, immediately after he got picked up by ASTARTES. Additionally, it had that cookie cutter posting here when they announced that he was going to partner with GW. And then shortly after this happened, Sodaz had to take down all of his 40k animations, and he also likewise had to put up like one of these cookie cutter copy and paste things. This like little PR statement. He also had to do that, and then Exodite ended up getting mysteriously went from being a fan project to now being an official product for GW. A bunch of stuff happened on the heels of the tiptoes of this that lead me to believe that there was coercion of sorts on GW's behalf. And yeah, but I'll go into more detail about it and my theory about it in a bit. For now, let's just focus on actually reading the full statement. But on Digital Bones' development of its own original IP projects, please consider the Patreon link below. Now, I did sign up for Syama's Patreon. I did that. I would actually, I did, and I've provided a link in the description of this stream for those who would like to take advantage of it. If you haven't seen this community post, please do go check out Syama's Patreon. Support this guy. He is one of the most talented animators I have ever seen, and he deserves all the support we can possibly throw his way. Especially if he's actually getting to separate from GW a little bit and start like spreading his own wings and doing his own thing. And also, especially if my theory about what happened when Astartes went from being a free animation online to magically disappearing. Link, it's in the description below. Unless you're asking for the link to the call line Discord, that's also in the description. I will share that in the chat when I'm ready to start taking calls. But either way, both are in the description below. Additionally, the link is on his post. If for some reason the link in my description doesn't work. Hi, by the way. Hi also. Welcome to the open mic, Bedlam. I'm assuming I said that correctly. Bedlam? Is it Bedlam or Bedlam? I'm going to go with Bedlam for now. But yeah, that was Syama's official post. And, of course, it's coming with this little artwork here. Now, obviously, the center one is Astartes. That's also Astartes. I am curious what the rest of these are. A part of me, is interested in thinking that they might be 40k related, but they're probably not, given the poignancy of this line right here, original IP projects. So I'm going to safely assume this, and these three are all original IP projects. I am curious. But yeah, for right now, I don't think there's anything else about that Syama has said as of this moment. So that's what Syama has said on the heels of the release of the Astartes project. Welcome, Gilly Guy, by the way. Beginning the cant of the hot take. Beginning the cant of the hot take. What? The last one I said was correct. Okay, Bedlam. Gotcha. Alright, so that's Sama's post. So I was going to save it until after the trailer, but I'll do it right now since I've already made a point of it. So the theory I have from back when Syama mysteriously and suddenly took down the Astartes animation and suddenly partnered with GW. I've had this theory since it happened. I believe that was done via coercion and legal fair about blackmail. This is a theory. This is not something I have any proof for. This is not something I have any corroborating evidence or testimony for. Let me make that perfectly clear. This is entirely something I believe to be the case, and I do genuinely believe it. I believe it for several reasons. First of all, the suddenness of everything that happened. One day, ASTARTES was completely available for free on YouTube at 1080p. Actually, 1440p if I recall correctly. Everybody could watch it on Syama's channel. Then magically, like overnight, that all of the parts got taken down as well as the full release. That got taken down from his channel. And then that cookie cutter statement was posted. This one. Exciting news for the ASTARTES project. I'm happy to announce today that I'll be working with Games Workshop to create official Warhammer stories and continue the ASTARTES project. It's been a dream come true to contribute to blah, blah, blah. So this came out and was released off the heels of that. And again, it's all very sudden. Now, if it had stopped at this, and this is all we saw, I would safely say, despite my issues with GW, despite my biases in disliking them heavily, I would not immediately assume any kind of legal fare was threatened. I wouldn't assume any kind of like IP bullying went on. I'd be kind of inclined to believe that if someone threw that theory at me, but I would kind of leave it with, it wouldn't be a theory I myself hold fully. But also after this, if y'all will recall, another animator on YouTube, or another YouTube animator, sorry, called Sodaz, also had all of his fan-made 40K SFM animations suddenly be taken down, and he released an identical message to this one, except minus working with GW. So I'm curious if that's actually still on Sodaz's channel. Hold on. I am curious. Sodaz. So there's Warhammer. Unless I'm completely wrong. Wait, hold on. There's a compilation of Sodaz 40K animations. Okay. Wait, they're published by Captain of Hawk Republic Force. Okay, so those are re-uploads. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Because I know Sodaz has been working a lot on Fallout stuff and Halo stuff. This would have been 3 years ago, right? No, I'm not seeing it. Hold on. Am I completely crazy here? I remember, so, correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Sodaz did have that post, didn't he? Okay, now I'm doubting myself, because I was certain Sodaz had it. I'm now checking his postings. Yeah, because I remember it being a whole thing. I'm not seeing it on his channel. Okay, so either Sodaz removed that, or I'm crazy, and Sodaz never put up a posting like this. If I didn't, I rescind my comment about it, but I'm not seeing it. I remember it being a controversy. Removes 40K. How about this? Okay, Valric covered it. Hold on. Does Valric show a statement? Okay, Valric shows this in his coverage of it when it back when it happened. Sodaz's Fallout animation has been fantastic. I agree. I've been seeing his work in progress of the current project he's working on, and it's really fucking good. That guy pushes SFM animations to their max, and it's really impressive. Okay, so I think, emphasis on that, I think this is the statement. No, hold on, there it is. Okay, that's his response after the fact. Okay, I'm thinking this is it. In May, they informed us to delete the video, whether they worked with us or not. I deleted the video. After that, I lost contact for a month. They said they were going to do weird things like Warhammer Plus. Okay, that might be something else. Yeah, I'm looking to see if Sodaz had the similar... Because I remember Sodaz, and maybe my memory... It has been 3 years. So maybe my memory is completely failing me here. But I remember Sodaz having a similar thing like this go up on his channel. It was just a short video. At the same time, I also remember Syama also having a video where he showed this exact same little thing. But I'm not seeing... I'm seeing Sodaz's response to it here. I'm not seeing the actual posting. So not having it to go off of, I can't present it as my evidence like I did. I could have sworn though. Okay, so, well, Soda said this after the fact. I'm talking about the rumors they've been going around the internet about me lately. After I wrote to the Korean community, I got a reply from GW a few days ago. They want to keep working with me. They said that the reply was delayed due to circumstances, but I am not going to work with them. Not because of the very slow feedback, but for other reasons. During that time, I was attacked by so many people, and it was painful. Which, by the way, for anyone who attacked Sodaz back in the day, for him taking down his 40k animations. So at the very least, this statement proves that that I'm not entirely misremembering that he did take all of them down suddenly shortly after Astartes. I remember being after Astartes suddenly disappeared and was put up on Warhammer Community and then eventually Warhammer Plus. So back a few years ago, 3 years ago, all of that kind of happened all at once. Astartes was taken down very suddenly, and so was Sodaz's animations in regards to 40k. And additionally, after that, Exodite, which originally, if I recall correctly, was a fan-made project as well that was being crowdfunded on Patreon and other places, I think. That also suddenly went from being a fan-made project that was intended to be put on YouTube or other places for free after its project was finished. That ended up becoming a Warhammer Plus exclusive. And additionally, the Iron Warriors animation. I also believe that is another example of a fan-made animation that was picked up suddenly by GW and it stopped being a fan-funded project. I believe I even covered it back then, but I'd have to really sift through my own posts. So, point is, GW very suddenly picked up all of these animations. And several of them, again, I remember Sodaz having a cookie cutter statement like this, but having no proof of it on hand anywhere here, I can't present it as evidence to my theory. So I have to stick to what I do have, and what I do have is at the very least Sodaz acknowledging that GW contacted him, and as a result of that contact, all of the 40k animations got taken down from his channel. Of course, other people re-uploaded it, but he himself took them down. So from that, and from some contextual clues, I personally believe Syama was coerced via legal threats. Now, am I saying that GW didn't offer him a job and that he's been working as like a slave or something like that under the threat of lawsuit due to his IP usage for Astartes, the first Astartes? No, I don't think that. I do think that it was a case of they gave him an ultimatum. Either take down all of your Warhammer animations and never upload them again, or we'll sue you, or we'll go after you. Or we can put all the legal threats away, and you can come work with us, and that animation you did can become canon. So it was an ultimatum of, let's offer, the sweet, the honey, or we offer the poison. Your choice. I do think that happened. But part of the sweet is, it was still a job. I do believe Syama was brought on by GW, and they did hire him and did pay him. I do believe that fully, because otherwise it would just be extortion, and that could be turned around right back at them. So I believe fully that he was offered a job and he took advantage of it, and plus there was the advantage of making his animation officially canon. Additionally, all the chapters were in it, and it was a chance to leave his mark on 40k. So I do think that's I do think that's what happened. But again, at the same time, I do think it was off the heels of coercion. How aggressive that coercion was, I have no idea. And additionally, I have no idea if I'm even right about this, but it's what I believe given the circumstances of what was happening at that time. Because if it was just Astartes that had went out and that cookie cutter statement had just gone up, and that was it, I wouldn't believe my theory on this, but given that Astartes, Exodite, that Iron Warriors animation, and Sodaz all were impacted around the same time, and those stuff was taken down from YouTube, and then Warhammer Plus came out like a little while after. Additionally, like at the time, this was a theory as well being thrown around that Syama was threatened with legal fare if he didn't sign on with GW officially and work for them as an animator. The counter argument to that theory that I saw people throwing around, which I think is the worst argument against it, people were throwing around the theory of no, that's not a. There's no way that's the case. GW wouldn't do that. First of all, if you believe they wouldn't do that, you have not been in this space for very long. But additionally, the argument against it was, the argument against that theory was that the more likelihood was that GW offered him a better deal, gave him more money, gave him more resources. Syama, I mean. I don't think that holds any water because Syama had a Patreon back then, and I was a part of that Patreon. And again, for anyone just joining the stream right now, there is a link to Syama's Patreon in the description of this stream. Please support this very talented animator that brought us the greatest 40K project ever produced. Please do so. He is worth every penny. I promise you that. So, that aside, at the time, when I was a patron, back right before Astartes magically went down and it went up for Warhammer Plus and all that, by my recollection, his Patreon when I was there, it was like 2,000 patrons or something like that. And quite a few people were on the $5 tier. Because the $5 tier is similar to the $5 tier as it is now on his Patreon, where it's like, you could participate in polls, Q&A, you could get early access views of the Astartes project as he was working on it. And most people were on that tier. There was a $1 or $2 tier, but it didn't get you really anything. So vast majority of those 2,000 plus patrons were on the $5 tier. But let's operate on the conservative numbers, right? $5 multiplied by, we'll just do 2,200, because I don't remember the exact number that were in the Patreon at that time, but I remember it being around that. So $2,200. That's about 11,000, and again, I'm going to go by the $5 tier being the majority of them. So that comes to 11,000. So $11,000 a month, and to be extra conservative, I'm going to remove 600 to just kind of show a margin of people being on like the $1 tier. And keep in mind, it wasn't just $1 or $5. There was like $10, there was $20, and they all stacked. There's plenty of reason to believe that plenty of people were on $5 or above. I'm just doing averages, so let's say the majority were at the $5 tier, and then a couple hundred were at the $1 tier. So let's just subtract that. It's $10,400 a month. So $10,400 a month on the conservative estimate of what he was making. Multiply that by 12 months, a year. He was making 124 grand, almost 125 grand a year. And if he had continued working on other projects after Astartes 2, let's be honest, that Patreon would have only gone up. I honestly ask people, do you think GW, that company of all companies, was going to offer him a better deal than what he was making in the private sector, where he had 100% control of everything? They were going to offer him better than this six-figure a year payout, plus advertising money on the animations. I don't believe that. I don't believe that GW offered a better deal than this. I believe that what they offered was a decent figure. They probably paid him, I have no idea what it was, but I don't think it beats 124K a year. And if it does, it's marginally better. I bet they offered a decent pay, and on top of it, not suing his ass for using their IP. That's what I personally believe. Again, my theory, I have no proof of it. I have no evidence of it. I stand by it. And if it's not the case, and he's not under any NDA, I encourage Syama to clear the air on that for those of us who do believe that theory. Because, honestly, I would love to be wrong. Because I hate GW. I think they're an evil company. So if I'm wrong, that's only a good thing because it means they're less evil than they've kind of shown themselves to be over the years, especially with like legal fare and stuff. But that aside, that my theory aside, and it's good that Syama is finally free. It's good that he's going to be moving on to his own IP projects. And I don't. How much more do I want to go down this train of thought? I'll save any more like detailed thought breakdowns for the actual open mic if you guys have direct questions about my theory and why I have the stance that I do. For now, I'm going to put that all aside and focus on the rest of it. So Syama's back. That's awesome. Please support his Patreon. Again, linked in the description. Please do so. Subscribe to the Digital Bones channel. And now that we've got that out of the way, let's go through the Warhammer Astartes 2 official teaser trailer. Fuck, I can't talk. Astartes 2 official teaser trailer. We're gonna go through it. I'm gonna leave the audio off, and because I've already seen it, and I think all of you should go watch it raw for yourself. It's just a compilation trailer, but I want to go through and like stop and give my thoughts on like each little element as we go through it. And then after that, I'll open the floor for the open mic. That way, I'll pull in calls one at a time. Again, link in the description to the Discord link to get into the call lines. I'd love to have you. So let's go through this, and then I'll open the floor to you guys to give your perspective and your opinions as part of the community. So let's do this. And again, I'm muting it because I don't know how much GW wants to strike shit. So many brotherhoods united in purpose. We are the shield that slays. Alright, so we got a very, very good look. Oh, Reverend Norse, thank you for the 50 Swedish crowns, I think that is. Damn, you are having an open mic at the worst time for me. Sorry, man. Take my money and have some good convos. Dare we hope for 2 to be good? I hope I will say this. I have zero doubt. By the way, again, thank you for the super generosity. I appreciate it. Thank you. I have no doubt in my mind Astartes 2 will be good. Like, I have no doubt whatsoever. I mean, it's coming from Syama, so at the very least, it's going to be animated very, very well. And I don't think he would have let GW screw with the quality of the story that's going to be showcased either. And for GW's faults, I think they wouldn't push their luck too much on that front. Especially if, again, my theory is correct and they already kind of extorted him to even do it in the first place for them officially. If that theory is correct, I think they would have already considered their luck spent on just pressuring him to do it. Even if my theory is wrong, I would hope that their creative team would just support Syama and know, hey, this guy brought a shit ton of people from Normie Land into 40K. All on his own before we even got him to work for us. How about we just let him cook? I'm hopeful that that's all they did and they didn't mandate too much. I mean, at current, I have no doubt it will be good. I have no doubt in my mind. So, I don't even need a fingers crossed on that one. If I'm wrong and it's bad, I'm going to be depressed. I'm not going to lie. That'll be a depressing day. Especially with how long we waited for this to come out. So we're already getting some really, really good shots. The shot of the Hive City, at least I'm assuming this is a hive. It might not be, but this is a very, very good shot. And what I like most about this is it's very cyberpunk feeling. It is very, very cyberpunk feeling while still having the Gothic architecture. So you have that very exaggerated luminescent light. You have the lights all around here for the different structures and screens and stuff and vehicles moving around. It's got a cyberpunk vibe while still having the aesthetic of 40K proper, and I do really like the hive shot. GW's problem isn't tripping up good writers; it's getting good writers for their stuff that care about the quality. I suppose that's true. All right, so I love the shot, and we are getting a view of the chapter here. This is the same chapter, I believe, anyway. I'd have to double check. But the insignia of the chapter I remember from the Astartes anime, the first Astartes animation had a hand for the symbol. That looks like it's a skull though, being held. I'm assuming held by a gauntlet. I think so. This might be a different chapter. But as we'll go through, yeah, okay. There's the symbol of that chapter. Hold on. So as we go through, we're gonna see several unique chapters presented. Which, by the way, thank you God, it's not fucking Ultramarines again. For fuck's sake, it took a fan animator as talented as Syama to finally bring us a really awesome 40k animation, and thank you Christ, it's not the fucking blueberries yet again. Excuse me, by the way. Apologies. But thank you God. I'm so fucking tired of the toilet bowl symbol being the only one we ever fucking get for any media for 40k. I'm fucking done with it. Please. Thank you God. Give me anything. Anything else. Alright, so we're also seeing another chapter here. I'm safely assuming it's another chapter based on the coloration. So we've seen so we're getting some new shots, obviously, with scenes like this. Now, what I found interesting, and we're going to go through it without this trailer, but throughout this whole trailer, they're fighting many different variations of Xenos. We're seeing Tyranids. We'll see it later. We see Orcs, and we'll see later they also fight the Tau. And they're also fighting Chaos. We're seeing a lot of different factions getting repped, fighting Astartes throughout this whole thing. And I do really like to see that. Also, the way he animated the Orcs is just beautiful. Another symbol with the scythes. So, oh, and we got, this looks like my blood, is that Blood Angels, or is that another, it might be Blood Angels, or a secondary chapter to them. I'm not sure. I think it's Blood Angels, just with a unique, I could be wrong though, but I do like that armor. Oh god, just the way he animates, the motion that Syama does in his animations is always so fucking good. So yeah, here we have it. They're fighting the Tau. Tyranids. Oh, again, fucking A, dude. Just the way everything is animated. Look at that. You can feel the visceral speed of the Hormagaunts. That is so fucking good. All right, we got a Dreadnought shot in the background. Oh, Chaos. I think that was Death Guard. That might have been Death Guard. Or just Black Legion in general. Okay, I'm thinking that's actually just Black Legion. I was looking at something like the broken armor pierces, and I was thinking maybe that could be Death Guard, but no, it's not. Now, I got a human shot next to the Astartes. Always love to see that's the scaling there. The Emperor protects. I got that scythe symbol. I love the coloration of these guys. The orange and black really works. All right, another custom chapter. Okay, that's cool. Then we end off with an inquisitorial shot of a Terminator. Which makes me think... For that inquisitorial symbol, that makes me think that's the... Brain. Death Watch. So, throughout this whole thing, we saw shots of many different enemies. Not just one. So that tells me that the Astartes 2, which is either going to be... I don't know if they've clarified anywhere, but Astartes 2 is either going to be several episodes of an animated series, and then each episode is going to have a focus on a different chapter with a different struggle or a different combat scenario, which, if that's the case, awesome. Or it's going to be one big movie, and then different segments of it are going to take from different perspectives of different Astartes chapters. I am hyped for that. I really love what they're doing here. And seeing this visceral combat, seeing these different chapters, seeing the unique combat, and being able to see them fight these different enemies and how the Astartes have to adapt to each foe is going to be so good. Honestly, if I'm saying which one I'm most excited for, it's the Orc one. Because we've been inundated with Tyranids lately. so I'm not really all that hyped for the Tyranid related stuff. I'm hyped to see how Syama has animated them, because that shot of the Hormagaunts like rushing, that is such a good fucking shot. That felt so fast and visceral, as Hormagaunts are supposed to feel. But I personally, as an orc fan, we haven't got enough of the orcs getting love in the CG animated space, in my opinion. We see them a lot in SFM animations, but I would love to see them in this level of quality. So I'm excited most for the orcs and seeing them get into some good brawls with some Astartes. We're gonna crump this stunty. Well, no, the stunties are entirely different thing. We're gonna crump the beakies. Yeah, the Tau one, I'm curious to see how Syama does for the Tau. I think it's going to look really cool, but again, not as excited for the Tau as I am. If I had to rank like which foes I'm most excited to see Syama like animate the Astartes fighting, it's definitely at the top Orcs. Next to that's Tyranids, probably in second, Chaos Marines in third, and then Tau at the bottom. Not that I'm not interested in seeing him animate the Tau, it's just the Tau in general don't interest me as a foe. So, that's neither here nor there. I'm excited for all of them, but it's if I had to tier list them, Tao's like the one I'm least interested in. Still want to see it, but it's not like if I don't, I'll die. So I do think that's like going to be the case. It's either going to be one like big movie, or that's going to have several chapters, or it's going to be broken up into like an episodic thing. Either way, I'm excited to see what Syama does with it. And I'm also what I'm also curious to see is we didn't see any or hardly any shots in here that seem like they actually follow up with what happened to the Astartes we saw in the Astartes 1. At least seemingly. But let me let it play through one more time, see if I'm incorrect. Because I'm looking for that world that they landed on, like that desert-like world with the giant like skeletal statues, which a lot of people theorize was Necrons, and it could very well be. So this planet here in the background here looks like it could be part of the same world. It's got like that really red, like deserty vibe that we saw at the end of Astartes 1, but I'm not thinking that's the case. Like this is an ice world too, so I don't know. It seems like biome-wise we're jumping around a lot. So it doesn't, at least based just on this teaser, it doesn't seem like we're following directly up with that storyline. We're going to be spreading around things. Even if we don't follow up what happened there, I'm fine with if they just jump around into completely different stories. I just like the fact that we're getting multiple perspectives and multiple coverage of different chapters. We're going to see them fight different foes. Yeah, yeah. It looks so good. Like I'm excited. I figure all of you guys are also excited. But anyway, I'm excited. I definitely think it'll be good. I think it'll be really really solid. But well no buts. I am excited. I'm hype as all hell for Astartes 2. I think you guys should be as well. If you have Warhammer Plus, obviously enjoy it when it's fully available there. If you're like me and you don't really want to support via Warhammer Plus, I'm sure it will be available in spirit. Anyway, so now I'm going to open up the open mic. I want to get your guys' thoughts on Astartes 2, Syama coming back, the whole lot. I'm going to share the link in the chat now. And I'm going to pull in our first caller. All right. Hello, Chris Chu.
Can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear all right. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Let me just quickly mute the stream so I don't hear you double. Even though that's not your voice is lovely to listen to.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
This is one rather hectic evening. I thought I was going to be working on some scripts, but no. First, we get the trailer drop down, then the other mini trailer Syama dropped, and then you spring this open mic. I finally catch an open mic live. Because usually it's like multiple hours after you're already done due to time zones and stuff.
Well, I'm glad you got to catch one, man. And yeah, it's been a hot minute since I did an open mic too, so yeah.
And see, To just go through the obvious stuff, the animation it's Sayama's work. Like it's sublime,
Oh yeah.
simply put. You can't put it. But now, as it's been several hours after it, with the luster a bit down, regrettably there are some bad news that need to be acknowledged.
Oh, okay.
First and foremost, I'm sorry to rain on your parade. In the chat, it was already said, but this trailer contains 40% Ultramarines.
Wait, it does?
The sides of the Emperor, they're supposed to be yellow and black, but due to the lighting, they appear orange. And the Mortifactors, the white and dark blue ones fighting, they're both Ultramarine successors.
You know what? I'm still considering it a win for me because they're not directly Ultramarines. I'm
See, fair
counting
enough,
that.
but
I'm counting that.
I'm gonna have to reduce it to half a win because if you look at the original, if you're able to find the original Astartes 2 trailer that Syama had dropped, the one, particularly the clip of the Space Marine punching the orc in the face, caving its skull in, and then getting ganked by a couple more, that was originally a Lamenter, and it has been reskinned to a Mortifactor in this. And the bad part about this, that the Mortifactors are that one chapter that was like, ew, Lamenters, they're cursed, let's leave them. And that's why the Lamenters had to solo stand against the Black Crusade.
Oh yeah, you're right. I remember the checkerboards. Huh.
So, considering that this might be a bit of a controversial opinion, see, Sanguinius is great, the Lamenters are my boys, Gabriel Seth is based, and Dante is neat, but I do not care for the Blood Angels as
At
a legion
all?
overall. Yes. Like, they have a few neat things, but it's the Lamenters that I care the most about. They're just the boys. But getting them replaced with those particular Smurfs it just hits wrong. See, probably he had reasons to do so. Maybe James pushed him into it, but I do not vibe with that. Now, see, getting the Sons of Medusa, those are Iron Hand successors, and those are his homebrew chapter, the Retributors, descendant of Dorn, which I believe you personally enjoy
I very much
from the
personally enjoy
original
that, yes.
series. It's good to have them back, and
Oh, yeah.
the scythes themselves are neat enough on their own. Their ultramarineness can be excused, but the Mortifactors, that's a hard no for me. See, when this first released, I saw one person think that maybe it was the Carcharodons. Even they would have been preferable to the Mortifactors, to be honest.
I mean, yeah, I can agree with that. Actually, in general, not only would they be better, they would have been a premium choice. Because Carcharodons, I think that the sentiment in the community where they're either really loved or really like memed, because that's generally what I see in the 40k community when it comes to the Carcharodons. They're either the biggest meme because they're so kind of cartoony in their theme, or they're loved to death by a group of people. I think that they would have still been a really fun choice, especially, although I doubt that Syama would have A, been allowed to do it, and B, would have wanted to do it. But if they had Tyberos, the Red Wake, had him show up at some point in like in part of the animation, that would have been really fucking cool.
Surprising that this might be a once in a lifetime thing, but you've come across one of the few people who don't like the Carcharodons.
Oh wow, you're one of them. Okay.
Yes. The memes are funny, but fundamentally they are descendants of Korax. It's basically been proven at this point, and I don't like Korax. To me, he is the traitor before the traitors became a thing.
You don't like Korax?
No.
I kind of want to confront you on it. I want to confront you about it, but I don't want to like turn it into a debate.
I don't know. See, it's very simple. So, I very much so have a love of the old, distrust of the new. And when it comes to the Horus Heresy, I very much so feel for the Terran-born Marines, the ones who directly dedicated themselves to the Emperor, and then went on to be inducted into the legions when their Primarchs were found out. And if I recall correctly, Korax did not like all of his Terran-born sons, so he essentially did the equivalent of rounding them up and having them slaughtered or just thrown as a sacrificial thing. The only survivors that are Terranborn Raven Guard stock are this one chapter that's borderline renegade that lives off in the Ghoul Stars and occasionally trades with the Carcharodon specifically. But because he betrayed his Terranborn sons, I despise Korax for that.
Okay, so your reason. Okay, I think your reason is better than some for like disliking some of the Primarchs. To be fair,
I mean, also, Kurz is objectively superior. Eat my ass, birdies.
Kurz,
Yes.
the psychopath.
Yes.
Hard
And
disagree.
I have to note, it's specifically Conrad Kurz, not the Ninth Haunter. What his Primarch novel ruined the character. Simple as.
I mean, that's true, but that unfortunately that is part of his lore.
Regrettably. However, there's other things that are part of the lore, but let's not get bogged down into
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just what I would have rather seen is obviously keep the Lamenters as the ones fighting the orcs, because the Lamenters deserve the love. And
True.
instead, rather than having just generic Blood Angel, if you needed a quote-unquote with a speed with a great attack potency Legion going after stuff, give me White Scars, please. Just imagine this roundup. So you have the Retributors, you have the Scythes of the Emperor, White Scars, and the Lamenters. That would have been a much better, and Sons of Medusa. That would have been a much better roundup, in my opinion.
No, I agree. In terms of my preferred roundup, biasly, I think Black Templars would have been nice to see. And outside of that, I would like the Salamanders, the Raptors. Funny enough, because I think a lot of people forget they exist sometimes.
Worthily so.
Uh, Sons of Medusa is a good choice, and what's another chapter I think deserves some love?
Black Dragons.
Not my preferred choice. White Templars. I would have thrown the White Templars in there, but I guess to be fair, the White Templars got the tithe. They were in the tithes, right?
Were they?
I think so.
I only saw Smurfs and green Smurfs in there. I didn't see any White Templars.
I'll have to double check. I thought the White Templars got a cameo in the tithes, but anywho, so outside of the lineup of chapters and them all being unfortunately very Smurf related, what are your thoughts on? I guess kind of like in the same line of thinking like I was. Do you think this is Astartes 2 is going to be broken up into like episodic parts, like a mini season? Or do you think that it's going to be like one long movie with several chapters taking place in the different biomes?
See, ideally, I'd like a separate 10-minute animation for each segment. Though, as obviously people are going to clump them all together, and bless everyone who managed to re-upload the original Astartes. It is the one true thing. The thing that has me worried in particular is that on the GW website, I think it was mentioned that this Astartes 2 is going to be a prequel to their Death Watch series that is coming up. So each of these chapters are each of these segments are going to be representing a character who joins the Death Watch eventually.
Interesting.
And now here comes the biggest worry. For one, in this trailer, pure old school Marine goodness, not a single Primaris in sight.
Right.
Emperor bless.
Yeah, that was the first thing I noticed when I watched it is no Primaris, which actually kind of shocked me. I was genuinely surprised to see that. I was expecting, if anything, that GW was going to like meddle in with Syama's work. I figured they would have mandated two things, and neither of them I saw. Ultramarines being like the main characters, and Primaris, because those are their selling points. All of the generic boxes for Space Marines are always painted Ultramarine, and they're the main characters at this point, and the poster chapter. And additionally, Primaris are the main thing they're selling, especially now that they've retired the vast majority of Firstborn kits. So I'm surprised that neither are the case. I mean, as you pointed out, a lot of Ultramarine successors, but no overt Ultramarines and no Primaris. So I wonder how much they actually even push Syama on that, or if they didn't even push him at all, and he just put his foot down if they did.
That depends on, because you see, since this is going to be technically a prequel, we have no guarantee that this upcoming Death Watch series is going to be with Firstborn only. Maybe they decide to inject them with the call bullshit and make them Primaris for that one.
Yeah,
But
crossing
I
the
haven't seen
Rubicon.
yeah, and I don't know if Sayama is still working with GW on this
I hope to
or
God
on
not.
the Death Watch thing. Yeah. So as far as I know, he's just doing this. He did work on the secret level animation, and now he's just finishing Astartes 2, and that's going to be his involvement. As at least that's how I took his announcement in the post you went over.
That's how I
So
took it as
him going more
well.
independent.
Which does present me with the question I want to ask you, and I'm going to ask everybody in the calls. What do you think of the theory I hold? Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? Do you have like a modified version? Like, do you think that he was pressured, or do you think he just took like a generous deal with GW and the Astartes
Uh,
project?
Knowing GW and the how stingy they are, I doubt they would have offered him a more generous deal than what he was already making on Patreon.
Hmm.
Honestly, I think they managed to grab him with the initial luster of I'm actually working for the creators of the thing I love. My own creation can be considered as canon, and that is the luster that they have initially got him and Sodas and all the other animators. But my personal theory is that despite Soda saying that it wasn't due to GW being unresponsive to him, to me it felt like they snubbed him in particular, which is why they let it. He decided to go his own way and just dropped it altogether. And with Sayama, I think he may have gotten more privileges due to having the at least visually superior product. Though discounting the visuals, I'd say Soda's compilation of actions and events that take place are of equal greatness to Astartes. That might
Hmm.
be somewhat controversial, but the things he was depicting were also pretty great. And at this point, Sayama I think, has reached a point where whatever goodwill he may have had with GW has just, so he's just gone, okay, you've essentially torched your creative community away, and uh, doesn't want to be involved in that regard. Has He's just completing what he's been contracted to and maybe going his own way. That's my thoughts on it.
That's fair enough. Um, yeah. For me, hmm, I certainly believe that one could be swayed to like sign on with GW on that basis of like, yeah, like, hey, it's your chance to jump on with us and work with the creators of this thing you love and make your thing like official. I don't know if I believe though that without some kind of coercion, he would turn his back on the free market of being able to do what he wanted, especially with the backing of Patreon and with how much he was getting from that.
I mean, there is also the angle that you have a very litigious, happy corporation going and saying, "Hey, do you want to work for us for this thing we're making?" And on one hand, it's the luster of this is my chance to make the thing that I want canon, but surely in the back of his mind there would have been the case of they wanted to copyright Pauldrons for fuck's sakes. So there is that power imbalance at play that initially probably played some kind of factor on board, and maybe just became more prominent in the relationship as it continued.
Hey, maybe. So, that's all. That's all. Like the direct questions I had. Is there anything else you want to bring up in regards to Astartes to Sama or anything else? Questions for me?
Uh, all I can say is hopefully the future Death Watch doesn't turn out to be fully Primarist, praying to the Emperor.
Hopefully.
And for Sam, I do sincerely wish him all the best. He deserves it.
Oh, absolutely.
Uh, Same with all the other animators. And presently, I'm glad he's going more independent, as he deserves the spoils of that. It's just two things that I crave that would have been a reality, but sadly are not. Firstly, that James and his sweatshop weren't as trigger happy with litigiousness as Nintendo is. And second, that I have the couple grand spare left so I can get Syama to make some stuff with my homebrew.
Oh god. I will say this, like for my own tabletop war game I'm developing, I would rob a bank if it meant I could hire Salma to make just like a 5-minute animated trailer akin to the Horus Heresy trailer, re-release trailer they made a while back. I don't think they ever officially did. They officially credit Syama with that? I know that was like the common belief
I
that
am
Syama
not
did that,
sure.
but yeah, I
See,
would
I'm not sure, but that's the thing, though. A lot of people said that he might have worked on that, but personally, at least me looking at the Horus Heresy trailer, it did not have that polish that Astartes had, so I never really believed that he worked on it. Maybe the cinematography, but it looked like below quality of what he had presented by that point to me.
Hmm. I would agree. I think the excuse for that might be that probably made him make it faster than he's because it's pretty clear Simon likes to work at a slower pace, at least seemingly. So I think that might be the reason it might look like slightly lower quality or not quite up to what Simon normally does is because they told him to do it faster. Or alternative theory, it wasn't just Syama who did it; he just got brought on the team that did that trailer. I do find it interesting though, is if he did do it, why didn't they credit him? That would
Maybe
be a
he
big
came in
question.
late in the working process, so his contribution wasn't as big as people might believe.
Maybe.
Uh, or possibly it's a case of that GW still wanted to shill for their in-house team, and crediting him may have taken away from the spotlight from them, because obviously if you put Sayama in there, everyone's going to look at him and credit. You can see that even without crediting him, the community overall was like, holy shit, something actually good produced by GW? Surely Sayama must have worked on this.
Yeah.
Reasons aplenty, you could say.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on, man. I appreciate your feedback and your take on this, and hopefully we both get to enjoy Astartes 2. Are you a fan of pirates? Totally unrelated question.
Let's see, I how did you know that I'm an enjoyer of One Piece? Sailing into deep water, finding treasure and loot. And who knows? See, the last few years have been rather barren, so much so that the Urdeshi haven't even bothered to claim said artifacts that have been released. That's a Unification Wars
Mm.
reference to anyone who gets it. But maybe not just the Urdeshi, maybe even the proper channels for artifacts will have something of value come 2026. Who knows?
Who knows? All right. Thank you so much, man.
It was a pleasure, and hopefully I can chat with you sometime in the future as well. Have a good night.
You too. What a good start to the calls. All right, before I pull in Vivek, who's next up in the call line, let me just eyeball the chat real quick. The more factors are the least ultramarines. Are they? I mean, there's certainly less ultramarine than the ultramarines normally are. I'm trying to think of like all of their successors. They have like the most fucking plentiful successors. For now, I'll agree, but I feel like there might be another successor that's even less like ultramarine. Yo, hey Pierce, welcome to the stream. Temporary Alien, I think I forgot to welcome you earlier. My apologies. And Jenny, welcome to all of you. I'm just happy we have more chapters being displayed than just the normal ultramarine. I know, like that's for me why I'm taking it as a win, even though he's technically right. They're successors of the Smurfs. Kurz is better. I don't know. I don't love Korax, but I like Korax more than Kurz, personally. Spare the flares, spoil the child. Jesus. His workshop most of the time doesn't credit anyone. I did know. I will denote that's very true. Because correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Didn't they like have like hardly any credits at all for the first few episodes of Hammer and Bolter? I haven't watched any since the first like 6 episodes of Hammer and Bolter. But from what I recall, they had like hardly any credits for them. I definitely don't. I don't even think they credited the voice cast, which was interesting. A little skill issue. Kurz is an edgelord choice. Good God. All right, so I'm gonna pull in our next caller, Vivek. Welcome to the stream. How you doing, my lad?
Yeah, I'm doing good. You?
Doing awesome. Excited.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Yeah, we got Astartes 2 coming.
Yeah. I do like that it's all firstborn. I don't hate Primaris. I don't like the lore. I'm not, but I don't mind the look.
I will say that like that's also my stance. I've never minded the aesthetic. I prefer the older Marine aesthetic. I will say that, but I don't think the Primaris look bad. I think the problem with them is lore, and that bleeds into dislike. Even the helmets, I don't mind that much. My big issues with Primaris and design is the pauldrons. They feel too uniform to the design. I like more exaggerated pauldrons like the old school Marines had.
Yeah.
But anywho, what are your thoughts on I guess I'll let you pick where we want to start. Do you want to start talking about the Syama being back? Do you want to talk more about just the Astartes 2 itself? Like where you want to go with this discussion first?
Let's just start with the Astartes 2, be it, like in the stuff shown off in the trailer.
Right.
I do like that the mortificators are getting some stuff because they're often one of the ones that are brought up in like sort of when people talk about like lesser known or stranger chapters, they're often mentioned because they are ultramarine successors, but they also are cannibals and wear skulls. Like I think they've been investigated for heresy in universe before, like plenty of times because most of the time when an Inquisitor goes by and looks at them, they're like, "Are these guys ours?" And so I quite like them. The size of the Emperor with the capes on do look a bit Helldivers, but the capes look amazing. I do like the look of the size of the Emperor with the big flowing capes.
Kind of reminded me of Helldivers.
Yeah, it does look very Helldivers. Does look very, very Helldivers. Sons of Medusa, they're a popular chapter. At first I thought it might be in the Raptors, but the symbols are Sons of Medusa, and it makes sense. They're riding around in tanks, and I think I saw the Mechanicus logo on some stuff.
Yeah, I definitely, as I said, with should I go by? I'll go by his chat name right now, Dasrat. But for me, actually, should I go by Chris Chu or Dasrat? I don't know. I'll go with Dasrat. I don't know. That one stuck in my brain easier. So as I said with Dasrat, I would have preferred the Raptors for sure, because I think a lot of people have forgotten they exist. Sadly. And for me, I think they're the most interesting by virtue of being the most relatable. Might not be the right word, but they feel like the Raptors look like a straight up military unit, right?
If Space Marines were real, they would be the Raptors.
Yeah, they look like they're like a combination of the sci-fi aesthetic of 40K while being mixed with like modern day Marines or Army. That's why I really like them. And I think that would be something fun to put on screen, because it's a nice little mixture of the two things, and I think a lot of people would get a kick out of the Raptors for that. Plus, their personalities are pretty cool. I don't know. That would have been my preference, but Sons of Medusas aren't a bad choice.
Yeah, I know. I just know a lot of Iron Hand fans like the Sons of Medusas quite a lot.
Yeah.
It's like
all
Blood
5
Angels
of them.
fans with Flesh Terrors. Yeah, all 5 of them.
I feel so bad, but it's the truth. I'm sorry, Iron Hands fans, but Iron Hands fans.
Right? That's the Legion I forget exists the most.
That's exactly. Everyone forgets that. By the way, whenever you ask somebody, "Hey, list off all the Primarchs," what's the first one they forget?
It's Ferris.
It's Ferris every goddamn time. Like no one remembers Ferris ever.
I only remember Ferris because his name's fucking stupid.
Ferris Manus.
Iron Hands of the chapter Iron Hands.
Poor man. Poor man.
He hasn't got a good head on his shoulders. But,
fuck's sake. All 5 of the Iron Hands fans are going to send me death threats now. Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to get them. They're coming for.
Fuck. Okay. Sorry.
I do wonder if for the Deathwatch thing that's coming after, since it shows a Terminator helmet, I wonder if they're all going to be in Terminator armor, and so that way it doesn't matter if the Primaris are firstborn. So they just because we actually haven't really seen any animation stuff for Terminators since like that, basically since the 10th edition trailer.
True. Um, I that it. With the how the Terminators will be animated, I definitely am curious how they're gonna. Because one thing I commented on it with the secret level animation as well. But one thing that like constantly gets portrayed with like Space Marine speed is they're shown to be heavy and lumbering, that they can move fairly quickly. But I've yet to see, even with Syama, their speed given entirely justice. Because Space Marine's speed, in terms of how it's described in the codexes and in the lore, is that this quote always sticks with me. Nothing that big should be able to move that fast. And they're also described as how their running works is they don't actually run. It's kind of like the Hulk leap, right?
Yeah, they're
Each
like
step
springing from
is like
foot to foot.
it's a bound forward. And even though Sayama is still like the best animation in terms of in portraying them, that still has not been done justice in my opinion. Like the closest has been that in Secret Level, and both of them still portray the Space Marines as doing a form of a sprint, just with an incredible stride and incredible speed, but not with that exaggerated bound. So I'm at this point I'm wondering if that might end up getting rewritten in the lore, because so much of like the secondary media that we're getting is showing like the sprinting rather than the bounding. With the Terminators, with that in mind, I'm wondering how their speed is going to be portrayed, because as it stands right now, Terminators are still also fairly, well, fast is the wrong word, but for their size and for their heft, they move fairly quickly. Still, also in the lore, but they've also, like, using a video game as a reference, Death Hulk Space Wing, or Space Wing Death Hulk, sorry. Like, the way they were portrayed in that is incredibly slow and lumbering, which isn't quite lore accurate. They do
in that they're also presented as made out of paper, so you know.
Oh yeah, that too.
Not the best.
like Terminators are supposed to be slower, but still faster than most normal men can move. They do lumber quite a bit, because normally when Terminators are called in, they're doing one of two things. Either they're acting as a frontline bulwark, gunning down the enemy as they slowly move into their line, or they're deep striked behind enemy lines as tanks that take the brunt of a distraction for them and then gun them down or brutalize them with melee combat. That's usually their purpose. So they're not necessarily supposed to be like moving very fast, but still, I'm wondering how their speed's going to be portrayed. Might be.
No,
go ahead. Sorry.
I think with Terminators, it's going to be hard to not do them as like sort of just slow looking lumbering. It's going to be hard. It'll be hard to get the weight across otherwise, and they do suffer with not having that many real depictions where they actually, where we see them movement. Because even in something like Space Hulk Deathwing, it's the pace is set for balance of the game purposes and for the context of the environment, which is close quarters, like clearing of a spaceship. We don't really we don't have like a Space Marine 1 or 2 type perspective of seeing a Terminator sort of lumber around. The closest thing we have is the 10th edition launch trailer, and I can't remember how they're moving that. I don't even know if you see anything of them moving significantly. Maybe just walking forward.
Yeah, I don't think so. So it'll be interesting with it. I will admit, this is one thing I'm kind of autistic about, is because it's the one thing I do harp on every time I see like a portrayal of Space Marines or similar. I guess for me, it's just because when I first started reading about the lore and reading about 40K like a decade plus ago, when it came to like reading those descriptions of how Space Marines move and how inhumanly they felt in those vibes. For me, it's part of what makes an Astartes is their kind of contradiction. They are big, lumbering, walking tanks, yet somehow they move faster than the most speedy Olympic runner on the planet. For me, it's part of that like contradictory element to their aesthetic and nature that I do find important in their portrayal. And again, Syama nailed it as close as anyone has up to this point. He still showed them as incredibly fast and moving at incredible rates, but still not quite doing it. And I guess it for the same reason like the video game Space Hulk Deathwing made the balancing choice for the Terminators to move the way that they did. I suppose to make it more engaging with an audience and something more comprehensible. That's why Secret Level and Syama still chose to do like a sprint. Still big, lumbering, and fast, especially for their size, but not quite the same over-the-top level the lore is always described. So
I think in Astartes, other than the execution scene, the scene of the Astartes actually just sprinting through the corridor is probably one of the more iconic ones, because I think it does, especially as an introduction for some people, show that these aren't just, they're not just like people in power armor like in Fallout.
Yeah, exactly, and that's part of why I find it important. But yeah, outside of that, so what are you thinking with this series? Are you thinking it's going to be more of like a movie where it's like one big media thing where it's just we're getting all the different perspectives of the different chapters, or do you think it's going to be split up into like an episodic 10-minute or 20-minute episodes of each of the chapters' perspectives?
I think it'll be hard to say from what we've seen, but I think it would be. I think it would make more sense if it was shorter individual segments. If they upload that all as one, that's fine. Or if they upload it as individual sort of episodes, that's fine. The way I wouldn't want it is constantly jumping between, because that'll be fine if there was two, but with there being like 4, that might be a bit much with jumping between 4 different sort of storylines to have it converge at one. It might just be better to have that as he has the Emperor, he has the size of the Emperor episode, he has the Mortificators episode, and so on.
Yeah, I'd prefer it that way as well. That way people like me could skip to the episode with their favorite enemy. It's like, I just want to get to the Orc episode first and foremost. Like, I will watch the other ones eventually, but just let me see the Orcs fight some Space Marines.
Seeing some brutal Orcs would be nice.
Oh yeah, like that. Just seeing Orcs in that level of fidelity. Oh god. I'll probably the day after. I'll probably be painting like half the Orcs I have on my to-do list.
Oh, don't even get me started on a pile of shame.
My pile of shame beats yours, I promise you.
With painting or building?
Both. I promise you.
My building is about 250 models.
I have that beat.
Oh, damn.
I have over 540.
Yeah, I've mostly got I've got like battalion boxes and comic patrols lying around and stuff.
Actually, if you'll allow me, I'll prove it. Hold on.
Alright.
I'll be right back, everybody. I need to establish a point. Alright, so these are just 3 buckets. So these are just 3 out of I have 4 little shelves of 12 of these trays. All of them are full. So this is the Catachan and Cadian force I have that need to be finished at some point in this century. This is my Black Templar force. Part of it came from the Indominus box. This is my Death Guard force that mostly are just primed. I kind of started on that guy's base, but I never got back to him. Yeah. So these are just 3. And then I have like 4 trays full of orcs. 1 full tray is just Gretchen. It's got like literally 200 Gretchen in one of these trays. So I promise you, I have, and this goes for everybody, not just Vivek who's in the call. For anybody out there who thinks you have a bigger pile of shame than me, bet you will lose.
I think in total I might actually have a larger painting queue than you, because I've got I recently recounted. I've got 33,000 points of 40k. I've got I've got
I'm
like
back.
2
Sorry.
old world army. Oh, can hear us.
Sorry. I had to go put the trays back.
Yeah. So I've got 33,000 points of 40k. Probably only about 4,000 points of that is painted.
Fair enough.
I've only got one army with enough models painted to play a 2,000 point game, and that's guard, because painting tanks takes no time at all.
True, especially if you have spray paints, if you have rattle cans. You can do
Yeah,
those really
rattle
fast.
can and dry brushing, and you can do a Bane Blade quicker than you can do one Chaos Space Marine.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know how many points I have. I know the only ones I know are my orcs. I have 8,000 points of orcs.
My largest is my Chaos Space Marines with 5,605.
Yeah, I don't know what my point values are for the other armies.
My second largest is my Orc Marines.
My Black Templars, I think, would be the second most. I know I have more than this number, but this is this is what I remember it being at one point after I got the Indominus box. I have 6,500 points of Black Templars. I know it's more than that now, but at the time it was 6,500.
Black Templars is my 4th largest army.
Huh.
How many have I got? Like 17 armies or so. Too many.
See, well, anyway.
Yeah, random distraction. Yeah, yeah. I hope it comes out where it's like at least episodic, or at least like broken up into its segments, so it's not just constantly bouncing around. Because especially at the quality of the animation it is, I don't think they're going to be too long.
You don't
So
want
I
it
think
to.
if
You don't. I was just gonna say you don't want it to flow like Game of Thrones, right? Where it's like we're here at Dorne, we're here at the King's Landing, we're here at.
No, I don't want it. I don't want it to just bounce around like it doesn't fucking know what it's doing. Because especially with the episodes probably being short, probably would be about 10 minutes or maybe even less, where it's, you know, you're gonna have it be constantly just disjointed, and it's gonna not make much sense.
All right, so yeah, I'm hoping it's like that as well, where it's cut up into like different episodes. This is a question that just came up. It's a quick question, but it just came up in my mind. Do you think they're all gonna have like no dialogue in them, like these first Astartes essentially did? Well, it had some, but it was like muffled or blurbed or stuff like that. Do you think that's gonna be like a stylistic thing that Syama is gonna stick to, is kind of like just showing pure action and let the story of the scene tell itself? Or do you think he's going? Do you think he, via like the support GW, is hopefully giving him, that there's going to be a lot more voice acting?
Well, I'm not sure. I think either one could work as long as it's done right. I don't think for Space Marine stuff, I don't think you need much in the way of dialogue, especially if it's going to be just action focused, like this seems to be. But if it is going to feed into a longer series, then it might have some exposition dialogue here and there.
Yeah. All right. And I suppose like the last question I'll throw your way is, what are your thoughts on the idea that Syama was coerced into? Because again, it's a theory, no proof, no testimony, nothing like that. It's just a theory. But what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that that's the case, or do you think he was just offered a better deal?
I mean, I think it would be difficult to offer a better deal than what he was getting on his own.
Which is my stance.
It would entirely depend on what the contract looked like. Because with Games Workshop being a British company, they're beholden to a little bit stricter laws when it comes to how they can hire people. But if he was just like a contractor or freelance, then they can kind of do whatever he wants. But I'm not sure the legality of a contract that says work for us or we'll sue you.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think the contract said that. I think it was one of those things where it was the implication. I
Even
think
then, I'm not sure. Like, because even if it's an implication, it would still count as coercement, and I'm not sure the legality of it. It wouldn't surprise us if they would try and get away with it, but I'm not sure if they would do it just because it could quite easily just ruin them. But it also wouldn't necessarily surprise us if there was some level of manipulation. Maybe if it's not like legal based manipulation, but if it's like, oh, you've created this such a great thing, we want to use it, and we'll pay you to we'll pay you to work on this thing that you love. Like, it wouldn't surprise us if there was some sort of like manipulation like that, but for actual like coercement, that gets into the realm where legality has to come in, and that might be. And it would entirely depend on what type of employee he was. If he was a contractor, if he was actually considered an employee of Games Workshop, that's where things would then change. And
right.
I'd have to know more to decide if Games Workshop were being massively evil or just a little bit
manipulative.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. For me, with the information we have, which is very little, a lot of it's circumstantial, but with what we have, I do think there was coercion. I don't think it was overt. I think they were very careful, and probably a part of it was a gamble. It's not the first time they've tried to do something legally speaking that they really had no grounds for, because they tried to copyright the word pauldron. They had no grounds to do that, but they still tried.
Yeah.
So I do believe fully that GW would try it. I do think they would try and test their luck with that. In what form or how or the exact outlines of everything, I don't think we'll ever know. Because if they did do it, I don't think Syama is in a rush to expose that, especially if there's an NDA involved, which we already know they use NDAs. So, yeah.
As far as I'm aware, with NDAs, you can't use NDAs to
here in the States,
hide illegal things.
Yeah, hide illegal things. That's true. Here in the States, you cannot. I don't know how it is in the UK, but in the States, you definitely can. I don't know where Syama is from either.
Yeah, yes, knowing where Syama's from would
help.
Would be a big help, because if they're from the UK, then it's much more likely that Games Workshop offered them a deal and was a little bit manipulative with playing on the emotions towards the IP. But if they're from a foreign country, if if they're from America, you might be able to be a bit more coercive. And if they're from somewhere third worldish, then actually that would include the UK. But if they were from somewhere actually third worldish, then they basically could do whatever they want and get away with it. So it entirely depends on where Syama's from. But Syama.
Oh. Did my Discord cut out? Or did my internet go down? Nope. Looks like my internet's working. What the? Hello? Shaq, can you still hear me? Still streaming? You're live still? Okay, I'm live still. The hell happened? Hello? The Discord's saying disconnected. The fuck? Hold on. Okay, let me try this. I'm gonna disconnect myself. No, it's not working. Because it's just saying connecting. Well, let me try jumping in another server. Not working. A RTC server has been located for you, and Discord is attempting to connect to it. Get ready to roll out. Okay, so Discord is not connecting me. I can't hear in Discord. Yeah, I know. Hold on, let me restart Discord. Let me try that. Sorry about this, folks. Technical difficulties. We'll be attempting to fix now. Yeah, it's good the internet didn't cut, but... Update failed. Update failed. We're trying. Oh, Discord is not even opening for me now. So wait, for those who have Discord, are you guys disconnected as well? Can you join VCs or anything? Can you move between servers? The machine spirits are displeased. Apparently. The fuck? I was in the middle of a good conversation, you fucking dicks. Alright, trying Discord again. Okay, it looks like it's opening now. Nope, never mind. Server status? Oh, come on. I don't know what's going on. Because it's all... Now it's just doing the spinny of death. Try browser. I don't think it'll work on browser because Chrome at the very least. Like when you try and open anything other than YouTube on Chrome while OBS is open, it doesn't work. Like this is what shows up whenever you try and open something while on Chrome. Did I cut out there? Well, anyway, it looks like this whenever you try and open up Chrome. Sorry, open up something on Chrome while OBS is open. Let me try this. I'm going to close my Chrome browser. I'm going to exit out of OBS. And try and open up Discord again. Let's see if Chrome was the culprit. Chrome was the culprit. Ah, Vivek, can you hear me?
I can.
Yep. Fuck you, Chrome.
Well, there we go.
Fucking
Blame
virus
Chrome.
software at this point. Just because OBS is open doesn't mean I was doing something nefarious, you fucking dicks. God damn you, Google. I don't know what they did. They programmed Chrome to like lock up if you're using OBS for some reason. It's fucking dumb.
I think companies now just program anything to just be shit.
Feels like it. Built-in obsolescence.
Built-in shitness.
All right. Where were we?
Talking about like the legality of the contract, and Havoc in chat said, does the person who's going to call them on it have enough lawyers? I do think Syama, with the money they were making, at least, assuming they didn't just, spend it all, would be able to afford a lawyer if the contract was illegal, because the amount of money they would possibly get out of that would be
to be
massive.
fair, you also got to factor in not just the cost financially, but the mental cost, which is honestly why plenty of people who even might have enough money to do like legal lawsuits don't bother with it. Like a lot of people also by nature are non-confrontational, and I've never spoken with Syama. I don't know what his personality is like. He's never made a video where he's in it. I have noticed that. So I get the impression also being a nerd on the internet like he also is, we're all an introverted bunch. Not a lot of us are geared for that kind of thing of like a fight with a corporate, especially a corporation that makes something you like, you know.
Yeah.
So even if GW were doing something shady, it is a question of how much by his nature would he have wanted to expend. Like usually people go by the path of least resistance,
Mm.
and I think in this case, if assumptions are correct around this, and it was something shady, it was a gamble GW was pulling off to try and screw with him to try and get themselves a really good deal. If that's the case, I and Syama could have fought it, but it might have been a case of it's a company that makes a product he really likes, and he had two paths to choose: confront it and fight it, or go the path of least resistance, go along with it, and in the process get your stuff made canon, uh, support the IP, even though you may not like the IP holders, tangentially support the IP, and they had to have paid him something. So at the same time, get a steady gig for a couple years.
I think you'd have been paid decently as well.
Do you think
Like,
6 figures good or?
I don't think quite 6 figures good. I mean, it entirely depends on where he ends up actually being from. But I don't think it would be equivalent. But I do think it wouldn't be. I don't think it would be like dropping down to like a low end wage. I mean, Games Workshop isn't known for paying people fantastically, to be fair. But for someone to accept a contract or employment, like either a contract employment or a freelance contract with them, who's already making 6 figures, it would have to be pretty decent. And it wouldn't surprise if different ones were tailored to different creators based on how valuable Games Workshop thought what they created was, and how much it would. I mean, Games Workshop may have even, actually I doubt it, but Games Workshop may, I doubt it, but they may have like bought Astartes off them, like the sort of because it's still his creation. He still made it, even if it is using their IP. That even they may have to buy it off him. So it wouldn't surprise if he made all right money out of it. But Games Workshop doesn't pay necessarily super high. Their Warmer TV presenters make around 30 to 35,000 pounds a year.
Is that good money in the UK? Because here in the States, around 35 to 40 grand a year is considered like minimum wage.
It's like a lower level middle class sort of wage.
All right, so we went over. I think we went over all the things I've been pointedly thinking about. Anything else you wanted to talk about or bring up in relation to Astartes 2?
I can't think of anything.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on, then, man. I appreciate it.
Yep. It's always good to be on.
Sorry we got interrupted in the middle of it by Chrome, like a virus, knocking me out of Discord.
It happens.
All right.
Right.
Hey, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. All right. That was the Saj of Vivek. Vivek is always a good boy. He's a good man to have around. Hey, Karn, Discord is working fine on my end. Yeah, it was just, it was pretty clear it was Chrome, because as soon as I closed Chrome, Discord opened back up, no problem. I don't know what Google did to Chrome, the Chrome browser, but it's at this point it's like a virus on your computer with how it works. Because not only is it causing issues, like when you have OBS open and you have Chrome open, you can't open a browser page to just any page. Because you can open YouTube just fine, I've found, but anything else, Chrome's like makes it so you cannot access other websites while OBS is open. I don't know why that is, and that would be bad enough, but this is the first time it's kicked me out of Discord, which is disturbing to me and kind of annoying. Maybe. That might be the case, Havoc. Hey, Greg. You got a side gig at Games Workshop? A level of transparency would be appreciated. All right, we're gonna pull in our next caller. Gilly guy, how you doing?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Hi.
Hi.
Uh, well, I'm real excited for the animations, because seems like they're going to be having a lot of different factions showing up, and I kind of hate it when you just see like the Ultramarines showing up everywhere. There's only supposed to be 1,000 of them.
Yeah, you would think there were a million of them based on their media coverage and their exposure.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you think you'd be seeing the Black Templars show up everywhere, but no, it's the Ultramarines that outnumber them apparently.
And the Black Templars were actually on the front cover of what was it, second edition, third edition? Like that
I don't
old
know.
that John
I've not been
Blanche
playing that
artwork.
long. I joined in 7th, so.
Ah, okay. Well, you joined around the same time as me.
Yeah. But yeah, I always like see that sort of thing because it also just makes the universe feel bigger. Because I think the Tyranids in that looked like they were not from the Purple Hive Fleet. They looked like they were a little bit different. So it could just be the lighting. I don't know, but
Maybe I only got maybe I didn't take them in right, but they looked like they were the standard Space Marine. Sorry, not Space Marine. Sorry, the standard Tyranid coloration.
okay. But yeah, yeah. But yeah, it just kind of makes things feel bigger when it's like, ooh, what's that?
Yeah.
You see this chapter badge and coloration you've never seen before. I like that they brought back his Homer. They are canon now, I suppose.
Yeah, I do like the diversity. I do like the range of chapters we're getting. I do like that none of them are the mainline Legion chapters even.
Yeah.
It's good to see. Do you think that they're going to do a? I know I've asked everybody this, but I'm just kind of curious to get like the
And
thought.
I prepared for the question.
Okay, good. Do you think they're gonna do like a big movie, or do you think they're gonna do like broken up into episodes?
So I assume it's going to be episodic because it would be really, really hard to bring all those stories together when they're clearly on different planets fighting different enemies. It's not like it's kind of hard to justify having all these factions involved in one story. It's not like in a video game like in Dawn of War where you can have like every faction shows up on the same planet for some reason, and you're just like shrug your shoulders and accept it because it's the only way to have them in the game, and you want everyone in the game.
Yeah.
But and it's also like I can't imagine that's gotta be more difficult. It's gotta be easier to write it when you're like just like, all right, you got this short story, we can keep it focused, get like the I guess 10 or 20 minutes or whatever it's going to be. Get a plot that's about that size without like a bunch of extra B stories and hooks and stuff, that you gotta manage properly or else it's gonna be bad.
Yeah. So just to clarify, you think they're gonna break it up into smaller episodes?
Yeah. I
Okay.
think that's most likely. It's easier for them, and based on what we've seen, they'd have to be pretty ambitious to make that into one thing. At the most, maybe they use. I guess maybe the most you could do is like introductory battles, and then all the characters come together into like the Death Watch or something. I don't know. That's just my, I guess, quick little assumption you could make about that, but I don't think it's likely.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the sentiment so far. As it's probably gonna be broken up into some kind of episodic format.
I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they could have like a B plot where kind of tie them together through the episodes, but it would be difficult to make it into one plot without it feeling rushed. Because you can also use kind of an omnibus to tell a larger story into bite-sized chunks. Like there's a lot of whenever you try to make a book into a movie, you always have to chop it up into a bunch of stuff. But if you make a book into a mini series, then it's like way easier to get everything in.
Yeah.
But I'm also excited to see him come back with like the original stuff because I'm kind of curious to see that if
Oh, Syama with the
GW is
new
gonna,
IP stuff.
yeah, because you know, we've seen like other things like with the Morning Star project and where it's like I feel like we're starting to see the rise of like grimdark as a genre, you know, and just generally speaking, like we got Morning Star, and then there's like I don't know if you've played that FTL kind of fan game, Void War, which really captures that kind of.
I have not played Void War.
But I'm kind of curious to see if the rise in popularity of Grimdark is going to outpace the rise in popularity of 40K, just because GW keeps like doing things to keep fans out, you know?
I that's an interesting kind of side topic. I honestly don't know if I see a rise of Grimdark necessarily. I guess there is somewhat of a rise of that, especially if we like factor in Trench Crusade coming up and
Yeah.
how that's
And you also got like Turnip 28. You've got
Turn 28. Yeah, we do
there's
got
like
we do got quite a few Grimdark projects in the work. I as for like the popularity of them, I don't necessarily think we're seeing an increase of that. I think it feels like that because 40K is growing more popular. But 40K is growing more popular as GW is simultaneously uh, lessening on the grimdark elements. Really, it's
that's
only
true. Yeah.
really it's only the fans that are keeping the grimdark aspects alive. If you look at all the GW official media for 40K, they really are like the closest to grimdark they do is kind of just a little bit of cosmic horror here and there, but like proper grimdark as 40K is supposed to be, especially how it is in the books, especially the early Horus Heresy books and the like. We've seen that steadily get reined back on quite a lot. So it remains to be seen if Grimdark is growing in popularity. It's certainly growing in sources, but it'll be a while before we could say if it's actually it itself is growing in popularity.
Yeah. For me, the watermark of I guess Warhammer losing its grim darkness is just in like the logo, the Warhammer logo, where it used to be this like stonework thing, and it kind of became those like red lines, that kind of red logo in like 7th edition, you know.
Mm.
And then more recently, we have this kind of like blue hologram looking thing, which I kind of hate. To be honest.
I don't like it. I think it's I unpopular. Well, actually, I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but an opinion I have. Also, welcome free artists into the stream. Welcome, Nico. Going to bed. Got school tomorrow. Have a good stream. All right, see you later, Nico. Rest well. Also, welcome, Zoid. I'm potentially unpopular opinion. I think the new Warhammer logo sucks. I really, really don't like it. It's very flat. It's blue, like the blue feeling. It doesn't feel as good or as iconic as the old school Warhammer logo. So
It looks like it looks like they stole from just like Star Wars or something. Yeah.
yeah, it just feels a lot more flat and a lot less unique. The old school Warhammer 40K logo with like the white text with the slight blue green gradient, more green than blue, and then that like bold like heavy or almost heavy armored outline of it. It felt like it was like chiseled right out of rock or something like that.
Yes. I was going to say that right out of. It looked like it was made of stone.
That looks so much more metal. It feels so much more appropriate for the setting, and you look at it and it's iconic to the eye. The new logo, it feels more generic. I just don't like it. But right. So the animated series aside, what are your thoughts on Syama coming back? And do you think, as I think, that there was a bit of potential coercion or implicit coercion done to that GW did to get him on board, or do you think he was just offered a better deal?
I assume that they were being litigious and pulling shenanigans just because that's the reputation they've cultivated. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
why would I expect anything else at this point? And if they don't like it, then maybe they could get their act together, but they won't.
They won't. No. GW will never. At least I don't want to say never because a small part of me hopes to God that they fix up their and there's like a big upheaval someday with the 40k team, and that they finally just bring it together and realize how much shit they are. But I don't see that happening. I don't know. It's near impossible. I'll put it like that.
Yeah, I think 40K is just gonna be kind of trapped in this, I guess, corporate environment probably for the rest of its lifespan, however long that is. I don't see the culture within the company changing anytime soon, just based off of everything we've seen. Like we thought that 8th edition was gonna be this great breath of fresh air, and at first it was, but it was kind of like, I guess in a way it was almost, we've kind of gone through like Star Wars new trilogy thing with the last 3 editions of 40K. It was like, eighth edition Return of the Jedi. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like it's just like old times again. Everything's great, and then like each concurrent edition was like, oh no, it's getting worse. And then the latest, it's like, oh no.
Yeah. Actually, what are your thoughts on 10th edition? Because I hate 10th edition so far.
I really, I guess I don't hate the core rules. A few things could be better. I admit I was wrong about some things. I thought having the characters joining units would be a good thing. But honest, the game wasn't designed around that, so that's been kind of a flop, I think. Because you got like differing toughnesses and stuff like that, and it just kind of made it kind of a mess to play.
What about dev wounds?
Yeah, and then like the way they changed linked weapons. It used to be extra shots, and that was fun. And honestly, wasn't too overpowered in my opinion on most things. It just kind of made some things more glass cannony than before, but it was fine, Yeah, but obviously, I'd say probably the worst thing is the codexes. I feel like 8th edition was like the peak of like codexes, and then like 9th edition was like the start of like the curse of box compliance, and they kind of just half-assed all the sub factions that you could play as, and now they're just gone completely.
Yeah.
Like I primarily play Mechanicus, so I've been very unhappy for a very long time, but.
Yeah, my girlfriend actually just bought me as a belated Christmas gift the Adeptus Mechanicus Combat Patrol and a box of Skitari.
Yeah, no, those poor that's my big sticking point is the Skitari box. How it's like it used to be you could have the 3 special weapons that are all the same, and now they're like you can have one of each, and it's like, okay, so you want me to fire 4 different weapon profiles while I'm trying to play the game on a infantry unit of which I'm likely to have a large number of them, Like, how long do you get those games to take place over?
Oh, sorry, you cut up a little bit there for me.
I was just saying, like, it just stretches out the game because, I've got to roll for my rifle shot, then the plasma shot, and then the arc rifle shot. That's like, I just homebrew it with my friend that I can have 3 because they try to make them all balance with each other anyway, so who cares, but.
Yeah. All right.
But it's
Is there any other thoughts on regards to Astartes 2 or anything else you want to bring up? Or
I think I got everything. Thanks.
okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for having me.
No problem. Have a good night.
Night.
Always good to have Gilly Guy on. Honestly, I'm certain that within its audience niche, Grimdark is still popular based on the fact that amongst my short stories uploaded to DA, those in my Grimdark setting do better than those not. But yeah, that's also that as you said though, it does well within its niche. Yeah, if you're a fan of Grimdark, then any Grimdark tends to like appeal to you on that basis. But yeah, my question though is like, is Grimdark as a niche growing to the point that it would like be like a mainstream thing? I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say confidently that I don't think Grimdark necessarily is growing. It remains to be seen. I could be wrong, but I see 40k growing. But at the simultaneously as I see 40k grow, I see its Grimdark elements start to get swept under the rug or outright removed in its writing and its portrayal, and it's GW themselves who are doing it. So, with that being said, I don't see a direct correlation with 40k getting more popular and Grimdark getting more popular. I see 40k getting more popular, but Grimdark getting removed. DeviantArt. Ah, okay. DeviantArt, you do fanfics for... I thought DeviantArt was for, like, art. Like, drawn art and stuff. Or 3D art. Alright, I have one more caller, and then we'll wrap up the stream. Khan! How are you, my man?
Hey, I'm doing fine. So, you excited for the new ASTARTES stuff?
Indeed I am. Completely unrelated, I plan on sailing the Seven Seas soon.
Yeah, I was thinking about it as well. I'm trying to look for a crew to find true and one the true One Piece.
Oof.
You got space. You got space on your crew.
Yep, I got plenty of room. I got plenty of room.
Fucking fantastic. Consider me part of that.
Alright, Skipper. So what are you thinking with the series? Do you think it's going to be like a big movie, or do you think it's going to be like episodic?
Oh no, it's most likely going to be episodic. It's going to be like Hammer and Bolter, but with actual animation.
Thank you. Hammer Bolter sucks, by the way. Just throwing that out there to everybody who hasn't seen it.
I think it had like one good episode. I think.
I've seen. I will say that I do remember like a Zinch episode that was really good.
Yeah, with
Everything
the
else
scribe
sucked.
that keeps finding that book.
Yeah, everything else sucked in those early episodes, and it's just Hammer Bolter was so bad.
Dude, it looks like animation cells they just put up.
It looked like an amateur project, in my opinion. Like the
Yeah, I called
artwork.
it the. You first.
I was gonna say the artwork itself. Like if you took like still frames from the series, it looks okay. But when you like actually see the animation, it doesn't. The animation looks worse than Archer. For those who know that series, that animated series.
Yeah, that's why my friend and I call it the PowerPoint. The PowerPoint series. Because sometimes those animations are. I just want to say Dreadnought.
Oh yeah, the Dreadnought that looked like it literally just got moved on a Photoshop line.
Yeah, the one in I think it was the Elder episode. That beautiful looking Dreadnought. Geriatric Dreadnought. Forgetting where he is. He wants his ice cream. They're waking up from a dream, you know.
And keep in mind,
Twins
they wanted what was it, $5 a month for the subscription to that thing.
I mean, it's still lower than most other streaming
It
services,
is, but it's still not worth $5. Like
no,
I really
because that
don't think
animation
so.
is crap.
Well,
Astartes is poached.
Sorry. Well, let us think. All of the animations on Warmer Plus are in two categories. Either they were made originally for Warmer Plus, but they're utter shit and low quality as all fuck, or they were poached fan-made animations that are decent or are great, but the moment you put them behind a paywall, the only one that, in my opinion, really held up enough to be worthy of that paywall was Astartes, and kind of Exodite. That's
That was mostly fine, I think. The faces were a bit odd. I think that's why we mostly got Creek and Fire Warriors in the suits. But every time they had like the Iron Man shots where you see the faces in the suits, it was like, why?
Yeah. Don't even bother.
Oh, man, it's such a shame that Death of Hope didn't continue.
Damn Warriors one had such awkward animations. It did at times. There was a couple of moments in that animation that looked pretty decent, but again, putting it behind a paywall, I have to look at it as a product I'm paying for. I'm
the Iron Warrior episode actually made me mad.
Yeah, like there were a lot of people there were a lot of bootlickers and shills defending that shit. It's like, dude, you're paying $5 a month. It's not worth that's not worth $5 a month. And the other reasons people bring up for why Warhammer Plus is worth it, it's like, like Warhammer Plus isn't just the animations, it's also the painting tutorials. You know how many free, awesome painting tutorials are on YouTube? Fuck off. Well, there's
Yeah,
also the
those were
battle
incredibly
reports.
basic, I think.
There's
The Warhammer
also
Plus ones.
there's also the battle reports. Oh, the battle reports where there's when they roll the dice, there's a magnet underneath the fucking dice tray, and the dice seriously, people expose that. They were doing a battle report. They rolled the dice, and 3 of the die just sprung to 6s and stuff. It's like, dude, they're faking them. They're that's more fake than the
Trying to be
WWE.
sneaky.
So they're not even fucking worth it for that. So fake battle reports, painting tutorials that get beat by free shit on YouTube, that they themselves release free painting tutorials on YouTube. Like I like seriously, the only thing that's unique to Warhammer Plus that you can't get elsewhere for better quality for free is supposed to be the animations. And even then,
Is it?
all the good animations they poached from fan animators.
Didn't they also try to bait people with like exclusive minis?
Yeah, and in my opinion, the minis weren't so good. They were worth hopping on a fight. Like,
I think the
my
best one
opinion.
was, I think, the Tower of Vindica.
and the thing is, you had to subscribe for a year to get them.
Yeah, fuck
Oh.
that.
Yeah, no.
I mean, that's still less. Oh wait, no, that's not less money than you would pay for a single
Well,
model, right?
not. It depends on which ones we're looking at. Like that orc one, I remember being like one of the first ones they like were advertising with. It about equaled the cost of a miniature of the same quality on its own at that time. Like you could have gotten an HQ unit like that of that quality for about the same amount as it would have cost you for a year's subscription to Warhammer Plus.
Yeah, I was thinking about the Vindicare assassin because I doubt a normal Vindicare will cost that much.
Yeah. Like if they had said, hey, like if you pay for a year's worth of Warhammer Plus subscription, you get both of the 2 miniatures with show off. But they gave you an option of one or the other. It's like if you give me an option of only one, essentially I'm equaling out. That one mini, if it was a mini in the market, would cost the equivalent of this yearly subscription.
Yes.
And their logic is, oh, but you're also getting the subscription service with it, with all the stuff in it. You mean all the stuff that I can either get for free elsewhere, or that you poached from animators that could do it better than you? Really?
Yes, GW struggles with giving value to the customer.
They're fucking stupid as all hell. Like they really are.
They're trying to sell the thing as like almost a prestige product, but there's no prestige in plastic figurines.
No, especially when
It's
said
not like a
plastic.
sports car.
Especially when said plastic is like people only consider the Warhammer Plus thing a deal. They're like, oh, it's a deal. Like it only costs you like 50 or $60 for a yearly subscription, and that's how much one of these minis would cost anyway. It's like, yeah, it shouldn't. Like one of those minis should cost you $20. It shouldn't cost you $60 for a single fucking HQ unit. Anyway, that aside,
Now
so
I'm hung up on the fucking Iron Warrior episode.
well, we'll try and sway away from that to the actual good
Yeah,
shit.
no,
To the actual good shit.
to the actual.
Do you think? Actually, I think we already. Is there other stuff you want to talk about for like the actual Astartes 2 project itself, or did you want to talk about the Syama Peterson thing next?
No, the thing is, like, I wanted to know, like, which one do you specifically want to see? Like, because I kind of saw the Blood Angels, and man, I really wanted to see the Blood Angels animation because that's looking sick.
The Blood Angels one for Syama, or
For Astartes 2.
okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm actually interested in seeing the Blood Angels one. I can't remember which enemy they were fighting though.
No, I think we just see them jump around with the jump packs.
Yeah.
I'm just saying Blood Angels because you can do a lot with Blood Angels. Blood Angels are very, very interesting base legion. Why they are not my favorites, unlike the Dark Angels, they are not as easy fucked up as the Dark Angels are, because GW Rider sure as fuck cannot do mystery anymore. But with the Blood Angels, you can do the tragic noble knight falling into vampirism kind of deal.
I mean, yeah, you can, especially if they do a portrayal of the rage, the Black Rage, right?
Yeah, I would love if it's like a episode where you see like one Blood Angel's life cycle where he goes from initiate to honorable battle brother to then, why is this battlefield full of horrors?
Which I would actually like to be like that to be portrayed seriously, because as a community, I think we all just kind of meme on that aspect of the Black Rage.
Yes,
It-
and I
it-
don't want it to be memed.
No, I would like a serious portrayal of it for once. Because normally the community just memes it. It's like, oh my god, that Blood Angel over there savaging all of the enemy and our line. What's going on? And he approaches, and then it's just a joking, Horus! and then we just kind of played off as a joke. But it would actually would be cool to watch like that, like turn to insanity, and then like the tragedy of it as he's just going mad. Like I would actually like to see that portrayed well for once. So I don't necessarily think Syama's gonna show that though.
I'm kind of hoping, because I would also like at that point where the Black Rage hit that maybe all the color gets drawn out, except for red.
Yeah,
And the
that'd be
vision
cool.
goes blurry. Like that will be something I would like enjoy. And the Mortifactors also look pretty fun. Oh, the Scythe of the Emperors, they blinked out hard for the like couple seconds you see them.
Yeah, I think each of the sets of Astartes we got to see all looked pretty cool.
Yeah, and even nice to see the Retributors coming back.
Oh, ow.
Yeah. So the other topic was on who?
Was on Syama, the Simon Peterson, the one who actually makes Astartes.
Yeah.
The question I've been asking with that is like, do you think, as I think, that he was like coerced and there was some like legal implications, if not outright threats, to kind of get him to come on board and contribute to GW directly and Warhammer Plus directly with Astartes 2, rather than put it up for free?
Threats to come on board or else? No, maybe like come on board, that was an offering 100%. And the threat would have been, if you don't go on board, you need to put down your video. Like I can see that 100%.
Yeah, so you're thinking of like the more the reserved kind of threat, where the threat really wasn't to try and get him to come on board, but it was an ultimatum of come on board and your animation could stay up, but under our roof, and it can be contributed to the canon, or you have to take it down and it can't continue to exist.
100%. It's way too good for for GW to leave it alone.
Yeah.
Because then you will always have this comparison of why Warhammer Plus if this guy made Astartes.
True, especially now that we've seen Hammer and Bolter, and have that as a comparison. Yeah, it would be kind of comical. Like in the timeline, let's say GW didn't go after Syama and didn't get him on board with Astartes, and they had just put up Hammer and Bolter first, with Astartes being free. Yeah,
It would have been a thorn in their side, 100%.
Like the comments would be glorious. It's like, why would I pay $5 for this a month when for free on YouTube I got this fucking god tier thing that looks better than most movies?
Dude, and if the Death of Hope would also still be around, then you also had that as well.
Yep.
And then it's like, no, they had to at least get rid of him softly.
Yeah, I can believe that scenario too. I don't know. I still have my leanings. Yeah, I'd say overall I still feel like there was the some kind, maybe not direct, but some kind of implicit threat of legal fare if he didn't come on board. Because I just, for me, the big, like, it's what happened with the other animations immediately after with Sodaz. So many of the fan and crowd-funded animations and stuff suddenly going from that to working with GW and all putting up that cookie cutter statement that was definitely a PR thing. And then on top of that, the fact that Syama himself was definitely making in the decent six figures off of.
Yeah, it's like if GW would have gone after them, GW wouldn't even need to sue them for money because they got money for doing Warhammer things. If that's gone, they need to build something on their own, and then you cannot tell if people would have been interested in that the same way as they were with the Warhammer animations.
Mm.
So them taking the offer and go to GW would have been maybe the smarter move.
Maybe.
Which they would pick. Maybe it's hard to tell. Like I cannot see in a alternate reality where they then make their own Space King. Like you can always have a Space King, or you fuck up and then you have something that's no one really cares about.
Actually, an ironic, cool collab idea: Syama doing a CG Space King collab with.
Trying to make
Flash
the Space King Marines not look ridiculous.
That would I like it would be so hilarious if that happens. All right, if that does happen, I want credit for it. Don't worry, I'll take like a 2% royalty. I just that's such a it probably won't happen, but that's such a fun little idea. It's just Syama now that he's free gets called up by the Flash Kids crew and they're like, hey, you want to do something with us?
Dude, Space King Marines in Helldivers.
I don't I don't know if Syama would be able to, because his animation style is very like realistic and very realistic, quote unquote. Is very detailed and realism based, quote unquote. So
it's down to earth.
I don't know, for him to like do something that's inherently very cartoony, and it would be something I would love to see happen, but I just don't think it would happen. Yeah, that's my questions in general. Anything you want to ask me, or anything you want to bring up about the Astartes 2 stuff?
I already asked you which part of it you were the most excited about, right?
No, but my answer for that would be the orc episode and/or portion.
Of course.
I would love
that little bit of animation looked great with
it. Did look great.
Where he like blocks the chopper with his right hand.
Mm. And also the pummeling that orc in the face. Also, the orcs themselves look so good.
The way they overtook them, like just piled up on them.
Very orky way to deal with a space marine. So yeah, that's what I'm most excited for sure. I'm excited for the whole thing, of course, but that's like the pinpoint thing. I'll definitely say.
Yeah, I cannot wait to help you with the boat to go fishing, and then we can talk more about this about those episodes.
Indeed, we'll catch us some good stuff.
Do some whaling.
Do some whaling, yeah.
Right. International waters, we find something good there, 100%. So then I'm going to jump off.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Have a great night, man.
And have a good night, my dude.
All right, see ya. Oh, hello. We might have some breaking news. That might have undone a bunch of conversation that happened today. All right. This just got shared with me. So apparently, this is a cutout here. This teaser trailer is not actually clips from the new animation, instead showing a compilation of shots that represent the former lives of the characters that will appear in the show. There's a pretty unsubtle hint at the end as to the nature of the final story. Yeah, Death Watch. Oh, so wait, this Astartes 2 isn't a prequel to the trailer itself was the prequel. Huh. Well, that sucks. I don't know, that took a lot of wind out of my sails just now. What the fuck? Well, so wait, that's it? Of all of those different biomes and fights, we're not actually seeing the lead up to any of them? So the series is just a Deathwatch series. I mean, it shouldn't take the wind out of my sails as much as it is, but I feel kind of lied to all of a sudden. What the fuck? Yeah, I guess they didn't lie to us. It's just it's I don't know. Like I don't know. How are you guys feeling off of this? Because I feel suddenly very disappointed. Like I still know the series is gonna be good, but a little bit of the wind has been knocked out of my sails. A little bit. Like I have no doubt it's still gonna be well animated. It's still gonna be an intriguing series, but for Astartes 2 to just be a Deathwatch series, I mean that's gonna be interesting, but they showed so many cool fights. They showed the orcs, the Tyranids there. We don't get to see any of that? Like, in depth? That was it? Well, no, Vivek. Well, if we're taking for what's written here, right, which you just shared, by the way, thank you. The teaser trailer is not actually clips from the new animation, meaning that all of what we just saw, all of it is not in it. That's the implication of that sentence. Unless they poorly wrote this breakdown or this line, that means everything we saw in that teaser trailer is not actually in Astartes 2. Well, that's not starting off on a good note. Wait. So that I will say this: that does mean that teaser trailer is a lie and technically is false marketing. Not that I'm gonna like make a legal case out of it, but that's what it is. It's now false marketing. Because if what they just showed and what's supposed to be a teaser trailer, if the tease isn't part of the actual product, then how can you call it a trailer? And you can call it a teaser still, but it's not a teaser trailer. I don't know, that's a little annoying. Like, get us hyped off of footage that doesn't apply to the final product. And we're also upset not going to get anything for the cliffhanger of Space Marine 1. I mean that unless they've said that blatantly that they're not following up on that story at all. I'm actually curious to see if they will do that. I mean, that might be one silver lining, but I know that doesn't make any sense because this series is taking part of the Death Watch, which isn't part of the Retributors that went to that planet. Okay. Well, that's annoying. That's very annoying. But honestly, I'm probably more mad about that than I should be. I don't know. I feel cock teased, I guess, is the thing there. Like we saw like the Tyranids, we saw the orcs, we saw all them, and now we don't get to see them in all those different biomes and all those different fights and potential animations. That's incredibly disappointing. That's incredibly disappointing. Could be bad phrasing / I think it's definitely objectively it's bad marketing. The phrasing is up to it's up in the air if the phrasing is just bad, but the marketing objectively I think is bad because I call that false marketing. You showed things in a teaser trailer that aren't in the product at all. Like that's got to be a level of false advertising. We were cock teased. We might have had an Iron Hand successor, but they now deliberately forgotten as opposed to coincidentally. Yeah. Man, my hope for the life of a Blood Angel has been severely dashed. Yeah. Now we don't get to watch that. We get to watch a Death Watch show. Which to try and like not come off like, again, this pisses me off, but aside from personal pissed offness, the series no doubt will still be great, still be animated great, all that, but I don't know, I'm a little pissed. To any GW execs who may watch this stream, go fuck yourselves. You false advertised. Like, seriously, why do that? Like, I don't... Like, if you If you show footage that has nothing to do with the final product that you want people to get excited for, don't show it. Like, you can't call it a teaser trailer. Call it a teaser, but don't call it a teaser trailer. The term trailer has always been used in reference to commercial advertisement of the thing that we are going to get. You just said in this article this is not something we're getting, so it's objectively false advertising. So it's just... Anyway, Astartes 2 will no doubt still be good, still be awesome. It's still gonna... I gotta get my excitement back for it now. I just lost all of it. Well, not all of it, but I just lost a chunk of it. So now hopefully I gotta wait to an actual trailer comes out, not just a fake teaser. You know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Are actually working on the animations they teased. Yeah, I know, crazy. Actually show what's actually going to be in the product you're advertising. Absolutely insane. Sorry, again, that pissed me off. I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna get off stream. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Thank you to everybody who jumped in the call lines, had great conversations. Sorry to Vivek. It was Vivek, right? That my Discord cut off because Chrome is Chrome. Hoping the series will be good. Excited for it when it comes. Completely unrelated. Do you notice, just honest to its fans, News at 11, people not expect this? Well, no, like, Nathan, you expected this? Come on, man. You expected this, specifically. I don't believe you. Like, them being dishonest with fans, that's not the surprise. The surprise is they showed a teaser trailer that contains no teaser or trailer of the thing that they're making a trailer for. Like, all that footage has nothing to do with the actual product that they're using that footage of to advertise. Which, again, is an objective false advertisement. You showed one thing, and the product is going to be another. So it's not just GW were dishonest. That's not the surprise. This is the dishonesty. Yes, I did. Oh, come on. We've always been blue-balled when it comes to Astartes. I didn't expect them to deliver. Well, okay, so you expected specifically that they would show footage that's not actually in Astartes. Because I didn't expect that. And I don't know how you could have predicted that. That's... dishonesty, yes, but specifically that. If so, I admire your clairvoyance, because that is a very specific form of dishonesty I did not expect. God damn it. Fucking GW. Just think of it as extra... fuck off. Okay. Well... Blue balls aside, and not getting awesome animations with Firstborn Marines, and we're just jumping straight to the freaking... I mean, it still will be good, because Syama is the one who animated it. Narratively, I'm now having doubts. But, actually, no. That does... That kind of dishonesty now makes me actually doubt the final product. Because because now that has thrown in a monkey wrench. Now that makes me think that the animation may not be that good. Unironically, like, don't get me wrong, I know Syama is perfectly capable of high quality animation that was that good, but now I have the question: why did they show those little snippets and nothing from the actual show or from the actual product? They're only a year. Well, it's a year, but they're a year out, and Syama's been there for 3. They should have something by now in relation to Astartes 2. So why show us stuff that has nothing to do with that, with the actual product itself? Time to get out the tinfoil. I mean, yeah, I'm putting on the tinfoil. Now I'm putting in doubts. Now I have doubts of the quality of the product. Because the fact that they didn't show anything from the actual show and they would show something that has nothing to do with it. Yeah, I'm hopeful and still expecting the final product to be worthy of Syama's past works, but a doubt has now been sprung. A little monkey wrench just got thrown in there. Why show us footage that has nothing to do with the actual product when we're only a year out from the product and it's been 3 fucking years? I don't know. I don't know. Now I'm gonna be cautious. Before I was just purely optimistic. Now I'm cautious. Hopefully suspicions are unwarranted and they're just hopefully just their marketing team is extraordinarily retarded. Hopefully that's the case. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap things up here. That pissed me off. I don't know if it pissed you guys off, but it certainly pissed me off. And yeah, all right. I'll catch you guys later. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Thank you to everybody who called in. Much appreciated. I will catch you guys later. Bye bye.